Hi.
Hi.
Welcome back to the Jen and Sean show for another exciting podcast. Like that?
Yeah.
Excellent. The Jen and Sean show is a podcast where your hosts, Jen and Sean, visit hotspots around Melbourne, as well as interstate and sometimes overseas. We give you our hot take on whether it's worth your while, whether you should put it on your must-do list when you're in Melbourne, whether you're a visiting tourist or even a local. We give you our insights, reviews, and then tell you whether it was worth your time and your money and your effort.
In our opinion.
In our opinion. So that's our opinion, man. What we did for this podcast, we did a stay essentially in Melbourne. Very impromptu, didn't really plan it. Thought, well, the heck with it, let's play tourist for the weekend in our own town. But it was all unplanned. So we wanted to give you our rundown of what we did, where we stayed, and then give you a bit of a rundown on whether it was worth your time to go and see and do these things as well. We booked a hotel. It was called the Stamford Hotel in the centre of Melbourne itself. I chose this just randomly off booking.com. I didn't want to spend a lot of money. Didn't cost a lot of cash, people. But I found that on booking.com, this one had a pretty good deal for the Friday and Saturday nights. And it was right in the centre of the city. It's based on Little Collins Street in the city itself. It's really, look, from my own research, it looked really cool. And after staying there, I'm going to describe it as something akin to the Grand Budapest Hotel, if you've ever seen that film. It's kind of like an old auntie that used to be glamorous but now is tired and a little bit smelly.
But still classy.
Still classy. Still classy. Yeah, I found that it was very comfortable.
Yes.
It had location going for it easily.
Perfect.
It had a lot of other sort of add-ons that we never actually got round to as well, which included a sauna, a pool, a health sort of area. But we were really just intent on drinking wine and going and seeing some of the sights. So we didn't take advantage of a lot of it, but I really recommend it. It was actually really cool. It's also got a glass elevator, which was a bit of a highlight.
Yeah.
Something you don't see. I've got a thing with heights, and I found that the centre of the hotel is all sort of hollowed out, so you do get to see all the levels in one go.
It was cool.
Which was cool indeed.
Yeah.
We rocked up on a Friday night, went through a lot of the footy crowd that was there for some of the finals, so it was busy on the road. And we booked a restaurant, which was a 5-minute walk away. And this was our first destination for the weekend. It was called the Robata Japanese Grill, I want to call it. And it was amazing.
It was so good. So good.
We found it because I work nearby, and this one was really decked out quite uniquely. It has a lot of the Japanese signage from, they call them konbini stores, convenience stores from Japan. So the actual layout and atmosphere of it was fabulous.
Very authentic.
Very authentic, yeah. How did you find the food?
Food was incredible. The food was amazing. I'm very particular now when it comes to, Japanese food, having had the real deal. And you don't mean to be judgy, but sometimes you're measuring up. It was really, really good.
Yeah.
Very good.
It was very, very delicious. And we drank sake by the, not bottle, flask, I suppose you call it.
The little mini bottles. We need to work out what they're called. I'll Google that and we'll put it in the notes.
Very potent, very nice. So we were
good.
buzzing by the end of it. Look, they don't miss you. It was expensive, but definitely worth it. The staff were brilliant, really knowledgeable. Really,
amazing.
Really lovely to talk to.
Yep.
So I definitely recommend that. So Robata was on 2 Exhibition Street in Melbourne, literally 5-minute walk from the hotel. So it was a pretty easy decision to go there.
Yeah.
And coincidentally, kind of turned the weekend into a bit of a Japanese theme. We didn't plan it that way, but it ended up that way, didn't it?
It just happens that way. We're a little obsessed.
We are. I'm going to admit that. All things Japanese is really cool. With the sake, full bellies, we wandered back to our hotel. We'd stocked up, brought our own wine and nibbles, and we settled in for the night. The next morning, Saturday, we'd had heard a lot about a particular French patisserie, a bakery, which was nearby, called Loon. Loon gets a really bad rap on Reddit.
Yeah.
It's a very well-known bakery tourist trap. There is a lot of hate for it because it's pretty expensive and there's always lines to get in. So there's a lot of hate floating around out there. And I thought, bugger it, I'm going to find out what this is all about. I woke up early thinking the place is going to open at 7:30. So I was there, second in line, and it doesn't open for like another 45 minutes. So I got to know the guy that was first in line. He was also mistaken the opening time. So we got to know each other and we had a chat about what each other is up to. As a Sydney sider, I wouldn't hold that against him.
No.
He was a nice fella. The outcome, second in line, first to get my order of 4 $12 each croissants and some coffees. And honestly, what did you think?
It was amazing. It was so good.
Yeah.
They were so good. They were fresh, they were light, they were tasty. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's not just, you're not just getting croissant. It's some are sweet, some are savoury. I will say to the Reddit haters, get stuffed.
Yeah.
Go and experience it once. It's expensive, but we got 4 of them and we spent all weekend going through them. We didn't eat them all in one sitting. I mean, if you do,
And they're big.
Good on you.
Like,
yeah,
they're giant.
they were huge.
Yeah. Well, the plain one we had for breakfast that day, that kept us going right through to lunchtime.
Yeah, it really did.
And the coffee was good.
Yeah, coffee was really good. And that set us up for the morning. We tucked into that. We leapt out of bed after that and decided that we're going to hit up some of the popular spots to go to, but are also free. I'm a bit of a tight ass, so it was nice to go to some places where we weren't outlying heaps of cash.
Just discerning with our spending.
Yeah, I like that idea. The first thing on our trip was to go to ACMI. ACMI is the Australian Museum of Screen Culture. I don't know where ACMI acronym
We'll try and find that out.
Ticker, it'll be on there. It's a free entry into the exhibition. It's tucked into Federation Square. It's really cool.
It was really good.
It's got movies, history, Australian TV. It's got behind the scenes stories. It's got props. It's got gaming as well, like PlayStations and arcade
displays.
machines.
That one with the editing thing where you can pick the different speeches from different movies and swap them around into a timeline and it runs through. It was really good.
It was really
very
good.
well done.
And if you're into, recording and podcasting, it even had really old, editing equipment there, some of the first TV cameras that they have on sets. It's really quite interesting. We spent a couple of hours there easily. Yeah. The souvenir shop was probably one of the best things about it as well. If you're ever looking for a gift for somebody that's into TV, movies, that sort of thing, it's got a really well-stocked souvenir shop to get your hands on. So I felt, as a bit of a nerd, it was a really good spot.
It's right up your alley.
Yeah.
No, I enjoyed it. It was good.
Yeah. It's a bit of a must-do if you're in Melbourne, for sure.
And free.
We went from there to have some lunch, and we, again, no plan, decided to walk down to our favourite area, which is down Central Place to Graves Lane. We just stumbled upon a Japanese.
I wouldn't call it
it's
a
not
restaurant.
A restaurant.
It's like a cafe. They do describe it in a particular way. Yeah, more of a cafe style, but called onigiri.
Onigiri.
Very appropriate.
Yeah. Very cozy. It was packed. Lots of people in there. Yeah. Testament to the food. It was really not expensive either. We were able to fill up there pretty successfully. People watch. It was a beautiful day. And
Amazing matcha latte. I'll give them that too.
Yeah. No, it was really, really good. So we got stuck into that. From there, we decided, well, what's the next free thing we can do? And that was the NGV, or National Gallery of Victoria. It's a free entry with some paid exhibitions that are on periodically as well. We'll probably hit up one of those in the future.
Yeah.
But this was about really just getting our free on. And it was a busy day because it was a nice day. It was a Saturday, so it was a lot of people around, and the gallery was packed. There was a lot of tourists there and a lot of locals as well going through, which is fine. It's a really big area anyway.
Yeah.
What did you think of the NGV?
I enjoyed it. There were some parts that were more appealing to me than others. We've both just said in the last 30 seconds, by the way. It's on our list not to. I enjoyed it. There was a lot there, a lot of different tastes catered to.
Yeah. Yeah. I found that there were areas that we were kind of more interested than others.
Yeah.
The Japanese wing had some really interesting pieces, which were obviously super old but quite interesting. The Chinese section was actually really good as well. Had some modern stuff in there, which if you're following on the YouTube video, you can see some pictures of there. The British colonial part of it, I didn't rate it at all. I found it really boring.
Yeah, that was a bit much. We got over that pretty quickly.
So we didn't really speed run it, but we weren't really hanging around in there. It's got some really giant not open air, but really giant galleries in there, which is really interesting. Lots of stuff to see and do. We found that it was probably overly touristy.
In those parts. There were some surrealism pieces, though, which I really enjoyed.
Oh, that's right. We did actually see some of the...
and there was a couple of Picassos, I think, in there that were very cool.
Yeah. So, I said so. With that, there was, bucket list stuff. If you're into your art and you want to see a famous painting that's worth millions, then you can absolutely go there and tick it off. And it doesn't cost you a cent, which was really cool.
They do have an original Dali in there, which was very exciting.
Yeah,
I did like that.
I didn't know that was a thing. With that, we kind of bailed from there. Our feet were pretty sore, bit over the whole hubbub of the crush. Walked back to Federation Square, and we went up to a rooftop bar called Taxi, which sits on top of the transport bar there, which we've been into before. Listened to some live music. But upstairs, it was nice and quiet. You can overlook the Yarra River, have a quiet beer.
Yeah,
just
that was lovely.
Recollect on our day, which we did. And what did we do for dinner, Jen?
We found a place a couple of streets over. I don't remember the name of it.
I don't either. We'll probably put it on the ticker tape thing again.
It wasn't called Okonomiyaki, was it? No,
it
wasn't.
But it was known for that.
Yes, and okay then.
Yeah, keep the Japanese theme rolling.
It was so good. It was amazing. Really, really good.
We got to cook our own food, which you would think, I'm going to a restaurant, why should I cook my own food? Well, this was a whole process we'd seen in Japan and loved this particular food. It was not comfort food, but it's just delicious.
Yeah.
And we'd seen it made before in Japan, and in this one it gave us an opportunity to cook it ourselves. They gave us ingredients, they gave us the steps on what to do.
The tools.
And you also got something for yourself too. Do you remember what that was?
No.
Plum wine platter.
Oh, yes. How could I forget that?
Because you had a plum wine platter. That's why you could forget it. I'd say. It was really delicious. The atmosphere was great. Staff were really impressed that we were cooking our own food, which was cool. We were there for a good hour or so and had a good old time. Again, that was not even 5 minutes away from our hotel.
No.
Fell into it. It's right up against Chinese, Hong Kong. What's
Chinatown?
Chinatown. Thank you. So it's very close to that. After finishing up there, we decided to hit up Bottle-O, grab some wine, and decided to, again, take in the atmosphere of our great aunt Grand Budapest Hotel and retired there. The next day was our last day. We decided to check out. We went down again to our favourite little area, De Graves, Central Lane, Central Place, and had a big breakfast. A typical Melbourne breakfast that you could get stuck into.
Yeah.
Really kind of needed it after our wining and dining from the night before. Called the Soup Place, I think it's called. It was beautiful. Been there a couple of times before, but yeah, really good bang for buck. Great coffee, as you can expect.
And the juice, the fresh juices.
That was a real highlight.
They were so nice.
That was a real highlight.
Yeah.
And that kind of rounded out our weekend. We were parked just down the road. We didn't use the hotel parking because they were going to sting us $50 a day. I booked online the day before for the whole weekend, just in a car park, which cost, I think, $40 for the whole weekend. So you can do it pretty cheaply.
We stopped through at that Uncle Tetsu bakery before we came home and got that cheesecakey thing.
Yeah.
Japanese cheesecake again. And I went to your pop culture store too.
Yeah.
Had a look in there.
Wandered around some of our other haunts before we left for the day, actually. That was pretty good. So it was a big tick. Look, overall, I'm going to jump into a category. Chimichangas. Was it worth our money? Did we get our money's worth? What do you think?
So. Yeah. Really enjoyed it. Yeah. Experienced a lot of things, got to see a lot of things, tick some stuff off. It was good.
Well, we balanced it out pretty well, I think. I mean, we spent not a lot on the hotel accommodation. We brought in our own wine, worked out the parking. The dinner on the Friday night, look, that was a bit of a splurge, but really worth it.
So
it was
good.
really, really good. The free exhibitions we went to, again, cost us nothing. And then really we were just able to pick and choose cafes that we wanted to go to, and they were all pretty much,
Oh, great.
not over the top expensive at all, so you can do it well. Loon, look, yes, that was a very expensive croissant, but again, to the haters, kiss my ass. It was really tasty. I don't care what you think.
You're not doing it all the time. It was one of those one-off experiences to go, okay, let's try this, because I'd heard so much about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm a fan.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a fan.
Next category we're going to jump into is say hi to your mum for me. Would you take your mum-in-law or your mum?
I think so. There's definite aspects of it that they would enjoy.
Yeah.
Some maybe not so much, depending on the palate.
Yeah.
I suppose for some of the food and drink options, but I think for the experience point of view, yeah, absolutely.
It ticks a lot of boxes because, again, I think, if the older there, they may not want to spend a lot of money. They can do that. They can fall into a cafe or pivot off and do something else anyway.
Yeah.
So I think, you can easily take your parents there or your olds, particularly the Stamford. They would match the decor, put it that way. The other category I've got here is do you feel lucky, which is do you reckon the experience would get you lucky with the missus? I'm going to say probably will, just in terms of, look, you're in the city, you're at the Paris end of the city, surrounded by all these sort of bougie shops, wine, beer, good food.
Yeah. Lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of designed for that. Let's not say that. Another category I'm going to throw in there is what was unexpected about it. Do you think there was anything surprising or unexpected about the trip? I mean, you didn't really know we were doing this too much.
No, I had no idea. I was really pleasantly surprised at the standard, particularly at Rabada. That was so authentic and so well done.
Yeah.
That was really good. And I think ACMI
ACMI
was amazing.
They change it up. I've been there a couple of times, but we spent a good 2 hours, I think, in there, and it was just really well laid out and different.
So much to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. One of the unexpected things was, shouldn't be now, but just people watching.
Oh, yeah.
There's some pretty wacky people out there. We did see one person walking along who was actually in a adult nappy and nothing else.
Oh, that's right.
So I was a bit concerned about that individual.
That was weird.
But apart from that, it was mainly...
Oh, there was the hens do that were there, and they were all wearing, was it pink sequins?
Yep.
That was pretty cool.
Yep. And
they were having a good
penises
time.
everywhere.
Yeah,
too.
that's right. The earrings.
The earrings were penises.
That was cool.
The other category we're just going to jump into is the pivot category. Is there something that we could have done differently or something that made us pivot? I mean, the whole weekend was a pivot, really.
It was all a bit of a pivot, and it was just winging it, not really having a plan. We didn't have any preset ideas. It was just wander and see what we could find. So
yeah. I think Loon was a pivot simply because the bakery was just down the road. It was, again, 5 minutes from the hotel. If I was driving in for the day, it'd be a pain in the butt to try and line up and get there early. But because we were staying in there, I was up, I rolled out of bed, and lo and behold, I had the world's most expensive croissants, but they were so tasty. The other thing I would probably say about it is I don't think people do it enough.
No. You live somewhere for so long and you never really take advantage of everything it's got to offer. So it's good to experience that.
I would agree.
Make the effort.
Melbourne has so much to offer, and if you're just spending a day in there or half a day, you're in and out, and you may not come back, for a little while, but able to take your time and just wander some of the laneways, look at some of the graffiti as you normally do. But playing tourist is brilliant in Melbourne.
It's fun.
It really is. Yeah. Would we do it again? That's pretty easy to answer.
Yeah.
Of course, we would do it again because it was just easy and convenient and so much going on. And there's a lot of stuff that we didn't do as well. So much to see. Overall, I hope that we do get people interested in doing this sort of thing. We would go back to the Stamford again, I reckon, as well, because it was really
nice.
Cute and cozy, and
the room was massive.
It really was. It was probably the biggest hotel room.
It was huge. It had everything that you need. Like the full kitchen was in there. You had a little dining area.
It had two TVs.
The couch was comfy. The bed was comfy. The bathroom was very fancy. It was like all mirrors and lights and gold fittings, and that made you feel a bit movie star-ish.
It did.
Yeah.
It did. Yeah, absolutely. Overall, I think if you're going to Melbourne, you want to save some cash and you want to spend it on other things, then you've definitely got that ability to do it. I feel that this has inspired me to do more impromptu trips like this. Yes, we did do a bit of a Japanese theme, but that was an unplanned plan. It just happened. But overall, great time was had by all, I think.
It was good.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it. Would recommend.
Excellent. So there you have it. If you've got an opportunity to look at our video where you can see where we've been and done, you'll see some of the images that we took along the trip as well. Please do go like and subscribe. And hopefully we'll hear you next time on the Jen and Sean Show.
Or you'll hear us.
Less so's and less ums. And looking into the camera.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. Speak to you next time. Bye.